Alright, this is going to be a review of the Evolution concrete cutter, block cutter. You can see there. I'm going to cut the blocks too, one or two just to show you. But anyway, it comes with the blade there. And it's a dry blade. You know, when you're used to cutting concrete, everybody uses water. But they tell you not to use any water. It's a pretty decent tool. Evolution trigger. There's your safety button, push in to get it fired up. This is to adjust your depth. Maximum depth is 4 inches. So it's kind of a nice I've had it sitting around for a while. I haven't used it. Well, now I have, obviously, you can see. It is 23 or 2400 watts, which if you look on a PEIR chart, if I remember correctly, been a few years, that would be about 3 1/3 horsepower, somewhere in there. It works good, so I'm going to have my cameraman take over and get a shot of me cutting one of the blocks here. And the retaining wall that I'm working on, oh, got to get a picture of a cat. There's always cats. And anyway, the retaining wall block that I'm putting up is this one here. I finally got the water line and electrical and everything buried in the trench. As you can see, that caves in. So I'm just going to get a quick shot of that, me cutting the blocks so you can see the tool working for cutting blocks. Generally, I run rebar down into the ground in your bottom blocks to add stability. And then I fill the holes with concrete. I use a dry mix, and then I just let moisture get into it, and it hardens. Also, construction adhesive. You can use outdoor construction adhesive. You know, landscape adhesive. Works pretty good to glue them together. Because these blocks I got from Crap Nards. So the lip on them, as you can see here, this one has one on it, but a lot of these are missing the lips. You know, yeah, like most of those there, the lips are all broken off. But that's what you get buying from Crap Nards. They have cheap junk. So the lips are missing, so these want to shift more than what they would with the lip, obviously, and you don't want your retaining wall caving in. So that's why I'm using the construction adhesive, plus I'm going to pour concrete down in them to give them that stability. But anyway, I'm going to hand this over to my cameraman and get a shot of the saw in action. So it really is a good saw. I haven't had any problems with it. 4-inch depth, so that's really good. And you'll see it cuts right through it. Alright, Calico. And yes, I'm wearing sweatpants on a 87-degree day with high humidity. Now what you want to concentrate on is the block where I'm going to cut it. Now this will kick up some dust, so normally you have a respirator on, face mask. Everybody knows about face masks with this China virus being outspread. You're watching wear a face mask for the rest of your life, which I don't do. For this you should wear a respirator of some sort because you don't want to be breathing in rock dust or concrete dust. So I recommend always wear a good fitting respirator. A mask will work too, a good fitting mask, but I have a respirator that I wear, fits snugly. So you don't want to be breathing this in, but just for visual purposes, I'm going to cut one so you can see how good the saw works. So that's why I'm not wearing a mask or a respirator, but you definitely should while you're cutting stuff like this, because you don't want to be breathing the dust and getting your lungs all polluted. But this is just to show you how good it works. You know, make sure the thing is heavy too. I don't know the weight of it. Feels like probably, I don't know, 15 pounds, 16 pounds, something like that. 17 maybe. It's pretty heavy, but like I say, it's 3 1/3 horsepower, going by the wattage. So it's got some balls to it. maybe we want to go around that way to see. You know, and you want to see how it cuts through it. So I don't know if you're good. If you want to zoom in, use the zoom because you don't want the camera to. That's this way here because you don't want the camera to get all dusty.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm making 2 cuts.
All you can see is dust.
Well, yeah, because a lot of dust. And the rake hit because you stepped on it. But anyway, okay, we're going to do the next cut.
Can't see you cutting it, but okay.
Well, I know it's the dust, but hey. There we go. See, it does a nice clean cut.
Hold on, let me zip back there. Okay.
Zoom out if you have to.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can see it does a nice clean cut. Cuts right through everything, no problem. It's a diamond tip blade. Then you walk over here. Grab the construction adhesive. There's really no set amount that you're supposed to use with adhesive. If you use too much, then obviously it'll squish out through the fronts. And that's close enough to halfway. You can use a brush or whatever, a rag to get the dust off, because obviously you want good surface contact. You'll burn through quite a bit of the adhesive. And you can see that it looks pretty good. The saw really does a good job cutting, as you can definitely see. So I figure I might as well do a 2-for-1. You fuel the tool and show you how to put a retaining wall. The biggest thing on a retaining wall is you want to make sure that you back it up with gravel or put Visqueen behind it so your dirt doesn't wash out between the cracks. So I got gravel buried behind it. That way there you know it's not going to wash out. Make sure you have a good solid base. Put gravel down, sand, whatever you want for your base, for your starter. Your starter roll, you want level. You want that as perfect as you can get it, because as you build and go higher and wider, any flaws will show up. The retaining wall out front, I used rebar. Didn't use construction adhesive, but I used rebar. And all those blocks had a good lip on them, but I used rebar, poured, dry concrete mix in it to fill it, and then moistened it. And it's been 2 years, and none of those blocks have shifted. Is it overkill? Maybe, but I like overkill because you don't want it shifted. This is a lot higher, because you can see how high it's going to wind up being. So it's going to be up pretty close to yay high, 4 feet, maybe a little bit more. So you don't want it to shift, and that's the idea of using the construction adhesive, the outdoor construction adhesive, that, and then pouring concrete mix down in it. This wall is not going to go anywhere. You can pretty much guarantee that it's not going anywhere. So in a way, the tool works real good. I haven't had any problems with it, but I've only started using it. You can see I've only cut 1, 2, 4 blocks with it. But anyway, it's a really good tool. It's heavy. You can see that in between the dust that it really does cut through the blocks really good. So it's expensive, but it does a good cut. Now you can use the one with a handle where you just crank down on it and it splits the block. But to me, this gives you a nice accurate cut, not jagged, smooth. So there you go. So anyway, this was about the Evolution concrete saw. Comes with the blade. They don't want you using water with it, so just make sure you don't use water. And like I say, it's roughly 3 1/3 horsepower. Somebody can correct me if they want, but it doesn't tell you the horsepower. It tells you the wattage. And like I say, with the PIER chart, you can convert wattage to amps, horsepower to wattage, horsepower to watts, and it's a chart. As long as you know 2 of the things, you can convert to whatever else you need. So anyway, it's heavy. It works really great. Just make sure when you're cutting, wear a respirator. I didn't, because I was just showing you how to use it, and I didn't want to muffle my voice. So just make sure you wear a respirator when you're cutting concrete, because you don't want to be breathing that in. It could cause lung problems. Me, I'm old and I will fart, so my lungs are already shot, so who cares? But anyway, so if you want to subscribe, hit the little B in the right-hand corner. Any comments are welcome, as long as you keep them decent and respectful. Don't be a dick. So I just appreciate anybody watching my videos. And I'm not making any money on any of this. I don't have enough followers to make money on YouTube. This tool I paid for. Everything I show you on any of my videos, I purchased. Nobody gave me anything for free. So I'm not recommending a particular brand. The construction adhesive that I use is Loctite. I'm not saying use Loctite. It just happened to be what I bought. So I pay for everything. So no one's paying me, to give good reviews. So thanks for watching.